breaking news. Is selling beats online finally dead? Tune in to see why producers are panic selling all their equipment just to make an extra $100 this month. Okay, so recently I've been hearing that producers are experiencing a drop in their YouTube views, as well as beat sales are dropping for a good amount of other producers as well. Meanwhile, Matthew May did have a pretty low amount of views last month.
Interestingly enough, in this past month in July, my channel got the least amount of views that it got in a while, but I made the most money.
But with our help, he has had his best month ever selling beats and made over $10,000 in July. And while everyone is supposedly seeing a decline in sales, over the past 90 days, we have helped Matt see the exact opposite. So just because your YouTube views are down, it doesn't mean that your sales have to be drugged down with it. Or even with consistent views, maybe your revenue is not consistent. Like how this producer mentioned his revenue went from $600 back down to $100 within a month's time. So let's cover how our methods were able to give Matt his best month ever, even with his YouTube views being down. And by the way, this is the proof that it is all about making your beat store traffic count, and it is not about counting your traffic. And by the way, everything that we did for Matt was documented and put into our beat selling course. So if you are looking to get the best knowledge about building a profitable beat selling business, that first link in the description will take you there. Now, I'm super excited to make today's video because we've been talking to a lot of producers who make about $500 to $2,000 a month from selling beats. Mostly all of them are running into the same roadblock that is stopping them from making more money selling beats. So if you are tired of the YouTube algorithm controlling your sales, we will tell you how to break free by the end of this video. But the first thing here I want to talk about is it's not just YouTube. Making a profitable beat selling business comes down to the complete beat selling business you run and the systems behind it. For years now, producers have been too comfortable with playing the numbers game on YouTube. And this is the belief that is holding everyone back, no matter how much money they make. They simply believe that if they want to get more sales, they just need to get more views. But as I just told you, we dispelled that myth with Matt based on his July numbers. Also, don't get me wrong, if you do have more views, you probably will get more traffic, but that doesn't necessarily always equate to more sales as well. So then what tactics and strategies are we using that make Matt's business different than what other producers are doing in these struggling times? Well, we will talk about that soon, but I first need to address the elephant in the room of what some producers have been blaming their lack of sales on.
And several major investment banks are increasing their projections about a recession.
We believe we're in a recession.
Are we at a turning point, headed for a recession?
Surely no strategy or tactic can brace for all of this though, right? I mean, even in our Discord, people have mentioned about lowering prices to account for this recession. And then on top of that is the YouTube algorithm suddenly making this new shift where type beats are no longer getting the views that they used to once get. You know, is this the end of selling beats online? Not really. This has just proven that for too long, producers have been dependent on YouTube and don't know the most important strategies they need in place to have their beat selling business thrive. And we don't blame them. I mean, only recently our channel started getting more steam behind it. So how would you even know how to do that and what that looks like? And plus, it's not like we have a course that literally gives you the step-by-step strategies for creating those systems and how to get more beat sales. Like literally, it's definitely not the first link in the description below, that is for sure. And also, you guys want to hear something crazy about everything happening? During this time period of the recession and views going down, Matt actually did something that you might think would be stupid. He actually bumped up his most expensive license an extra $50. Yes, during all this chaos happening, instead of lowering prices like some other producers thought to do, Matt raised them. After he did that, it actually led him to more sales. After Matt changed his prices, we actually ran a test on his website to see which license highlighting would generate more revenue. And we literally have data to prove how we were able to help him do that and essentially double his revenue with this $200 license. So if you want to know how we did that and you're a CCS student, it will be in the marketing Discord channel for you to peep out. Now, I don't want to gatekeep everything, so let me give you guys the sauce. If you're currently between $500 to $2,000 a month, or probably even more, I bet we can literally predict where your biggest issue is right now and how to fix it. And by the way, if you're still below $500 a month, pay attention to this video because you are going to run into the same exact issue when it happens. So here's something important to note about Matthew May. From January 1st to April 14th, before we did any work with him, his returning customer rate was 17%. Now, after we started working with him and implementing our strategies that we teach in our course, from April 15th to July 27th, it shot up to 40%. And trust me, this was not luck. This was all part of a result from a calculated strategy. See, why so many producers in this range get stuck, it's because they are dependent on YouTube pushing people to their beat store. And don't get me wrong, YouTube is a great source for traffic. And like we mentioned earlier, if you get more views, it will probably lead to more traffic. But more traffic does not mean more sales. I want to stress this again. It is not about counting the traffic, it's about making traffic count. I mean, imagine if YouTube disappeared tomorrow. What strategies do you have in place to at least not tank down to now $0? And after talking to a lot of producers in this range, I'm pretty sure that they would actually tank right down to $0 because they aren't using these strategies. And yes, I'll agree, for Matt, if his channel got deleted, there would be a dip in his revenue. As if any business loses their #1 traffic source, they are gonna lose some money. But I bet you, because of email marketing and the systems and strategies that we have in place, Matt would still be able to bounce back, survive, and keep on going. And I mentioned that roadblock earlier, and we're gonna talk about it here soon, but just think about this with me for just 1 second. See, if someone buys a beat from you, they've already went through the hardest process, which is giving you their money. Think about how many times you have tried to message a rapper on Instagram and you wanted them to buy a beat. You probably tried to figure out the perfect sentence, the perfect messages, the perfect phrases to try and get them to buy a beat, and you just couldn't do it. But then there are artists who you will literally probably never talk to. They just find your beat on YouTube and they buy it. Now, back to that roadblock. Here is the difference between producers relying on YouTube versus the strategies that we have in our course that we implemented for Matt's beat selling business. See, with what many producers do is they expect that these artists will just randomly come back to their beat store and buy again. And it's a pretty clear indicator of them being stuck. Well, those artists, they aren't randomly coming back and buying again, are they? Versus what we teach specifically step by step in our course and we have implemented with Matt is that from the moment of that sale, we are contacting, we are following up, we are collecting data, and we are constantly re-engaging with those customers. And if you're thinking to yourself, these are just little steps, you know, they're cool to have, but they're not gonna do anything. It's just cool to say hi, what's up? This doesn't really amount to anything. You couldn't be any more wrong. Because even in the times where there are these algorithm shifts, guess what? Your entire beat selling business is not dependent on it. So if you're ready to stop being held back by the YouTube algorithm and start making some serious money with selling beats online based on the traffic that you already currently get and making the most out of it, click that first link in the description below and join CCS today.